there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of people have vision, like Mr. Daniel Steinman, that in the next 5 years that we will be able to, as Namibians, that we will be able to enjoy the fruits from the green hydrogen and from the new uranium mine, and from all these new projects happening in Namibia, because we have seen we've seen how foreigners are coming into Namibia, not for tourism, for investment. We've seen them coming through. We've seen them walking the streets with the suits and all that. This is business people coming into Namibia, and there's an excitement that things will get better for us in the next 5 years. But Vision 2030 is...
We're almost there.
Are we almost there? It sounds like it's not gonna happen.
Elsabe, I hear exactly what you're asking me, because I get asked that same question 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. And that is that there's this disparity between what we observe, the presence of big bras in big business, and the statistics, what I've mentioned with FDI going off the cliff. There's lots of money coming in, but we're still struggling. And then the question is, how long will it take before all this money starts becoming productive? And the example that I'm very fond of using is Nekataal Dam. From the day that let me give you a bit of background. It's actually very interesting.
Okay.
Do you have any idea when the site for Nekataal Dam was plotted, marked out, was mapped?
No idea.
1917.
1917.
1917.
Okay.
So it's a German project, a German colonial project. And very interesting, about 12 to 13, 14 years ago, a relative of mine, an uncle of mine who was working for NamWater, he just asked me in a conversation one day, are you aware of the site developed by the Germans and mapped out and surveyed by the German colonial government for this massive dam in the Fish River, about 30 kilometers from Keetmanshoop? And I said, no, I've never heard of it. And what happened, Elsabe, is the next week I went to the archives. And I actually managed to trace that project. And some of the documentation, but I got confirmation that indeed in 1917 a site was surveyed for a dam that would be close to 1 million hectoliter. It's a massive dam. And I mean, there was no comparison to Hardap, because Hardap did not exist in 1917. It was just this dam in the south, and I wrote about it. And somebody picked up on what I wrote about, because I wrote a couple of times about it. And the next thing that I heard, about a year later, they are now, the Nekataal project has been revived. So if we have to wait the same period from 1917 to 2002, what is that? That's 23, 24, 25, 75 years. Elsabe, obviously that's too long.
Yeah, it's a way.
Okay, but why Nekataal is a good example. When the decision was made and the project got the financing and the go-ahead, until the good Lord blessed us with letting it rain full in one season, was 8 years. So, and Nekataal is a very big project. You remember, about $5 billion initially, and it overshot that by a little bit. I can't remember how much, but it's a big project. It's a mega project. It is arguably bigger than many of the oil and gas projects currently underway, hydrogen projects. It is a big project. But what it does, it demonstrates to us that projects of this size takes 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So it's unrealistic to expect a very dominant rendement from all the gas and oil and gas and hydrogen and other exploration activities, uranium, gold, agri-businesses, irrigation next to along the Kavango River. It is, I would say, the 2030 deadline is realistic.
Okay.
Another 6 years from now, before you really start seeing the difference on grassroots level, because that money that is being spent in the projects, it's very simple what the mechanism is for that money to get to grassroots level or ground level, and that's salaries. So if you've got massive projects but there are only 3 people working there, it's useless. You want labor intensive projects where that employs 800, 1,200, 1,600 people. This is the sort of thing that you want, because the salary channel is the main conduit to get the money that originates from the profits in the project to get it to the population. Obviously, some of the money, a fairly significant amount, will come through levies and taxes, but that will go to the government's coffers. That will not go directly to your pocket. So employment in these projects is key. If the employment isn't there, it'll take even longer before we see the benefits. And then the benefits will come via the state's budget, which is something that we don't want. We want to see the benefits in our pockets. And again, Neckartal took 8 years to build. It's been sitting there for 3 years now, so it's 11 years from initiation. And we have not yet started with the preparation of the agricultural side. Nobody earns anything from Neckartal at this point. But there's the potential for many people to earn a lot if you can plant something, use the water.
I agree with you.
But that's
I've actually had this conversation with someone once.
Yes, but to develop that, I can tell you now, another 8 to 10 years. So eventually we're looking at Neckartal, fantastic project, good returns, good agri-business, but it took 20 years. It will have taken 20 years to actually get to the fruits of the project.
Okay, so we just need to be a little bit patient.
And you need to be young, because somebody at my age will probably not see a lot of it.
We the Ziggies will enjoy the fruits. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of this talk. You can, of course, catch us again next week for more interesting talks that we will have on the economy. Can you hear how interesting it is to actually have a conversation about the economy? Very interesting, listeners. So keep it locked to the power station, Energy 100 FM, for more talks on EconoChat. Let's Talk Business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. From me and from my team, we say goodbye.